Not only is the vowel sound ah responsible for so many uplifting or high vibrational and divine inspired words and expressions, but there exist countless chants from Central Asia which bring this specific vowel sound into a certain rhythm and repetition, so as to protect one from the effects of the Kali Yuga, right? We'll talk briefly. I'll do another video on the Yuga cycles, but I want to talk briefly because about the Kali Yuga. I don't want to, because chanting and the Kali Yuga, they're very much related, and I don't want to bring up the Kali Yuga with at least explaining a little bit about the Yuga cycles. And this comes from the Hindu tradition. So the Yuga cycles describe the 4 stages on the eternal wheel of the cosmos. The yugas represent certain periods in time that have an ascending and descending qualities of light and dark, good and evil, right? It's the unity of opposites. Now, you could say there's 4 main yuga cycles, or you could say there's 2. There's the ascending and descending. Okay. I won't go into all the bits here, but you can look at the graph here and see. Now the dates associated with this yuga cycle, to me, I don't know if these dates are accurate. There's a lot of controversy, and no one seems to know. No one seems to be able to agree, but that's okay. You can be in your own, the cosmos and the world can be in one yuga cycle, but you can also transform yourself, your life, and be in your own yuga cycle. So you don't have to be like, oh man, we're in the Kali Yuga. I guess all this spirituality and personal growth is a bunch of horseshit. You don't have to do that. So, but you can recognize maybe if you are in a different yuga cycle than the world around you, you can help others out of the Kali Yuga, for example, right? So some believe we've already left this Kali Yuga cycle, which is you can see at the bottom in orange. This is the ascending, or sorry, this is the descending. This is the lowest part of the cycle. It's the darkest age of the Yuga cycle. While others believe we're very well steeped in it, we're in the middle of it. To me, it seems like overall, I'd say collectively, we're still in the Kali Yuga, but we are on our way out. Almost as if we're witnessing the death throes of a wild and powerful monster right before our eyes. You know how a giant monster that is vanquished by the hero in all of so many stories, right? The knight comes in and slays the dragon, or the brave sailor kills the sea monster. Whatever kind of epic story we're thinking of, generally that monster has, towards the end, when you know it's about to die, it becomes even more violent, and it thrashes around wildly, and things ramp up, and it just gets really hectic for a short while, right? To me, that's why I think that we're on the way out, because things seem to be accelerating and ramping up, right? So I see that as the death throes of the Kali Yuga. This appears to be the case for me, as I see more people than ever that are dissatisfied with their lives, and they're seeking more than what has been traditionally offered, right? More people are going, there's got to be something else, right? So I think there's a shifting from this, I think we're definitely in the ascending part of it, and we're coming out of it. It's still going to be ugly. There's going to be plenty of things on the way that are going to be surprising, but I think we're on the way out. Once a certain proportion of humanity have awoken and are actively seeking a better way for themselves and for mankind, there will be no doubt that we will be leaving the Kali Yuga behind and ascending toward the golden age of humanity once again, right? These are very long periods of time, by the way. The Kali Yuga is, you could say it's approximately mapped to the great astrological year, or the great astronomical year, which is about 25,000 years, right? In the West, we have the zodiac, the 12 signs of the zodiac, and every sign is associated with just over 2,000 years, which is called an age. The age of Aquarius, age of Pisces. We're leaving the age of Pisces, coming into the age of Aquarius. All this comes about by the Earth's wobble and the precession of these 12 zodiacal constellations. That's another video completely, so I won't get too much into that. So in the meantime, how may one person attempt, or how can you try to heal or protect yourself and others from the effects of the Kali Yuga, right? There are times when things just suck, right? There are times when you feel dark forces coming in, right? And they're all around, and they're, right? What do you do, right? Well, there's some word magic you can do immediately that will help you. And it's called the Maha Mantra, right? The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So the Hare Krishna movement believe they have the answer to this way of protecting from the effects of the Kali Yuga that we're in. Having participated with and experienced this healing energy during the Hare Krishna ceremonies myself firsthand, right? I can say they are definitely onto something, right? I was invited with a group. I was invited into a place with the Hare Krishnas, and I brought my drums and was my hand drums, and I was playing and singing, and I could feel that it was a profound difference after, during, and then after. I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And I have, to this day, I sing this mantra from time to time, or chant this mantra, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It works. I can say it works for me. If it may not work for you, I'm not running around trying to tell you this definitely is going to work for you. It definitely worked for me. I think it helped that I let go of everything that I thought, every kind of judgment. I had to let go of all that and just sit down with these people and sing with them and really get into it. And it was amazing. I feel so much more open to having these experiences, singing this Maha Mantra. I'm not going to shave my head and become Hare Krishna. I don't need to, though, right? I don't have to do that in order to feel the effects. And it's open for everyone. You don't have to, they're not going to make you paint by the numbers, right? You can go to their temple and sing with them and enjoy the energy and bring that with you wherever you go, right? So this mantra it goes Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, right? That's it. Here's a quote. This is Swami Prabhupada. He brought, largely responsible for bringing the Hare Krishna movement to America in the 1960s. And this is a quote from him. He says, "This chant is the sound incarnation of absolute truth." Incarnation means, the Sanskrit word is avatara. The root meaning of avatara is which comes from the transcendental sky, the spiritual sky, to the material sky or material plane. So this sound, this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the sound representation of the Supreme Lord. Okay. In the Vedic hymns, we find that God has become many. Eku Bahu Siam, I am one, let me become many. God is one without second, but he has become himself many. We are also God. Out of that many, we are one. We are one. We are not separate from God. So this really is bringing this energy into yourself and into the people around you, and it's waking up your divine God essence, right? It's an incredible practice for those open that want to give this a try. Now, what occurred to me was the Western version of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is Hallelujah. It has the exact same pattern. This song of praise, when compared to its Indian counterpart, is almost identical in its rhythmic use of the heavenly vowel sound of ah, right? So let's compare them side by side. Hare Krishna, Hallelujah, right? Both begin and end with this ah sound. So the first part of this Christian chant comes from Hallelujah, or the Hebrew Hallel, which means a joyous song of praise. And of course, the second word, Jah, is a shortened version of Yahweh or Jehovah, right? The name of God in the Hebrew scriptures. This repeating of vowel sounds in Hallelujah and Hare Krishna is known as assonance, which is a rhythmic joining of repeating vowel sounds. So this ah sound that's going through, that's threaded completely through the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that is threaded through Hallelujah, that is also threaded through very high vibrational words. Ha ha ha, right? When you're laughing, this is upliftment, right? This brings you into a higher state when you're laughing, right? That's why they say laughing is healing, because it brings you into this higher vibrational state. And so does the Maha Mantra, so does the Hallelujah, right? So do all of these things. This aha, this eureka, right? All of these things feel good, right? They uplift you. They're positive, right? And you can chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra anytime. You can sing Hallelujah if you want, right? You can just laugh, right? All of these things have this amazing effect, and this ascendant divine energy just pours through you, right? It takes some practice. You're not going to, at first it may feel a little awkward. You don't know what you're saying. You don't know why, And I should just tell you, Hare Krishna and Rama, these are all the different aspects of the divine, essentially, right? And so if you practice this, you will definitely, maybe it won't work for you, but I feel like everyone around me who's ever tried this I've noticed this light coming into them and coming out of them into the world, right? It's amazing. It's amazing. So this is the part where I'm going to play a little bit I'm going to play an excerpt of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and I'm going to sing along. So the way this works typically is this is something you find in kirtan music, right? Last summer I went to a kirtan music festival, and the singer and the people in the band will essentially, you have a band and they're all playing. You have someone playing a harmonium and maybe a sitar, and there's drums, right? There's maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or even more, but you have a singer, and the singer leads the song, right? And they sing, And really, you're just repeating this Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And there's many different chants. There's like Om Namah Shivaya. There's songs for Ganesha. There's all kinds of songs or chants. They're very much songs though when put to music. You can chant this on your own, and that's fine. But you can listen to the music, and it has a melody and has a certain tempo and everything. And if this interests you in any way, I would go check out Ram Dass on YouTube. He's got some great ones, some great Maha mantras where it starts slow, then it speeds up and it speeds up and it gets faster and faster, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So I'm going to play. This is an excerpt from a song I found on YouTube. This is a Creative Commons license song, so I should be okay to play this. So I'm going to play this. You're going to hear the caller, or you're going to hear the singer sing the Maha Mantra first, and then I'm going to join in with the audience is then going to sing it back, and then it kind of just goes back and forth. That's just kind of how these kirtan music goes. So.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
And by the way, they can sing these for like.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Sometimes they sing these for an hour straight. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare
So that is the Hare Krishna
Krishna, Krishna.
Maha Mantra, and I will admit that puts me a little bit out of my comfort zone. I'm not a singer. It's when you're in a group, though, an audience, or you're watching you're at a kirtan music event. It's really great, and everyone's participating, everyone's singing. You can play an instrument, you can do whatever you want, but it's really beautiful, and it's hard to convey this, obviously over YouTube. But if you actually go to one of these events, find a kirtan music group. There's plenty of them around the country, around the world. Find a kirtan music group and just go observe and participate. Just sing a little bit. It's really great. So this is the end of part 5, and I wanted to add this image and kind of talk about a little bit about the symbolism, especially the symbolism with Lord Shiva here. This is Lord Shiva on the left, and with his Shakti, this is the embodiment of the divine feminine, Parvati. And I'm going to go through some of the symbolism here. I've done this before, but I've learned a lot more about some of this symbolism, and every time I come back to these images of Lord Shiva, I'm starting to see more. So I want to share a little bit with you. The first thing to think about, or the first thing to understand, really, when we're talking about the deities of the Hindu pantheon, is all of these separate deities. It seems really complicated, and it really is. I'm not an expert in this. I don't pretend to understand everything there is, because obviously I'm not from India. But you have to think of all of the deities in the Hindu pantheon as different aspects of the divine source, right? It's to in the West, it may be perceived as a polytheistic religion, right? There's different gods, blah, 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 blah. But that worldview is wrong, first of all, and it kind of falls apart when you realize that all of the different groups of the different sects of bhakti, like of Hinduism, like the Bhaktiism and Shaktism, the ones who worship primarily Krishna or Vishnu or Lord Shiva or the Shakti and the feminine, all these different things, Ganesha, they all venerate each other's deities, first of all. So it's not a case that, if you were primarily raised in an area where Lord Shiva, right? You've got Lord Shiva statues everywhere, and Lord Shiva's the one that, you don't look and say, well, this Hanuman guy or this Ganesha, that's all a bunch of crap. But this Shiva, this is where it's at. That's not what you do. You're venerating each other's deities because you understand that the cosmos and the divine is so incredibly without limits, seemingly, to at least to the human, to us humans, that there is many different aspects of the same divine source. So that's the first thing to keep in mind, is Hinduism is really not a polytheistic religion. That's just a Western label that we put on it. So let's look at this image of Shiva here. Now, normally in his right hand, he's going to have that symbol of the Om, right? Which is this essential, and that's another very interesting aspect of word magic. I might cover that in another series, but this time it's not going to be included. But he'll have that Om in his hand, right? And this Om is like this, is the essential fundamental vibration of all that is, right? It's like the third hermetic principle of vibration. There's a lot more to it that I don't understand, but that's just kind of my basic understanding. So let's start with this tiger skin that Lord Shiva is sitting on top of, okay? He's often depicted sitting on top of a tiger skin or a lion. This is to symbolize that Lord Shiva has mastered his lower or bestial self, right? This idea of the lower self are the instincts, are the parts of us that are animalistic, right? Our urges, our instincts. So there's a story about Lord Shiva being tricked to fall in a hole with a lion, and he comes out. He quickly takes care of the lion, or the tiger. I think it's a tiger in the story. And he's walking around this village where they dug this hole, and these men didn't like him, and he's wearing this tiger skin. So think of it as his divine nature is above this. So he's mastered his instinctual animal self. So these beads around Shiva, he's wearing quite a lot of beads on his bicep, his wrist. He's got them all around his neck. So has tons of beads, right? These are known as the Rudraksha beads. Rudraksha is two words. Rudra actually means Shiva, and Aksha means teardrops. So these are known as the teardrops of Shiva. This Rudraksha is it's the dried seed of the Rudraksha tree. It's believed to have all kinds of healing properties. It also it cleanses the aura. There's a lot of mysticism and magic associated with the Rudraksha, and there's probably many things I don't understand about it. So this is a symbol of purification, right? These tears of Shiva. The Trishula in the right hand of Shiva, this is the image is kind of cut off at the top, but it's a 3-pointed spear or a trident, right? It's called a trishula. This represents the trimurti of the trimurti is loosely the progenitor of the Christian Trinity. The trimurti represents the threefold aspect, the threefold divine aspect. So each of these 3 points of the Trishula is going to, first it represents deities, okay? You're going to have Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva represented on these 3 points, right? Brahma represents creation. Vishnu represents preservation, and Shiva is the destroyer, right? These are the essential elements of our world, of our reality, right? I have also read and learned that the trimurti is loosely associated with the threefold flame of the heart: power, love, and wisdom. So this Trishula is often depicted with Lord Shiva. Now the cobra around the neck is this symbolizes first of all, the cobra is a very most feared animal, right? This around Shiva's neck, normally it's like 3 loops around the neck. There's 3 loops, and those account for past, present, and future. But more importantly, this cobra around Shiva's neck is the Shiva conquering this fear, right? This mastering of fear, because Shiva, the actual name Shiva, means that which is not. Okay, and if you look at this image, Shiva is traditionally depicted behind his Shakti, behind Parvati, always behind. He has his hand even behind her, and she's always in front, because Shiva represents ultimately the underlying force, or the void, right? The nothingness from which the everythingness may come about, right? So this is a yin and yang image we're seeing, essentially. This is the unity of opposites between Parvati and Shiva, right? This is day and night, masculine, feminine. Not necessarily good and evil, because think about it in these terms. And actually, this wouldn't be good and evil, because Shiva is just the void, is the nothingness, the empty space, which allows the nature of the feminine. The feminine is the creative force, right? The feminine to unfold and create beauty throughout the world, right? That's the everythingness. Women are the everythingness. Men are the nothingness. Another way to look at that, if you watched my Silent Hill 2 presentation, women represent life and sex and the generative force. Men represent death, the void, the nothingness, whereas the feminine is the everythingness, right? This feminine masculine quality. Now you can see Lord Shiva has a very distinctive masculine form, but he has feminine qualities, right? There's this balancing happening, right? You could also say the same for Parvati, but this specific image really is more about analyzing Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva is the nothingness or the void, right? That allows the everythingness to be here, right? So if that is true, then in that nothingness and void, there is no fear. So the cobra can be around the neck and there's no fear of this, right? Shiva is also blue. Shiva is known as the blue-throated one. There's a Purana about the churning of the ocean and On one side is the Suras, and the other side's the Asuras, and they're, it's basically the gods and the demons, and they're churning this ocean. And it produces this, one thing it produces is this poison, and Lord Shiva, to save the world, drinks this poison. And he holds it in his throat. He doesn't let go. He doesn't let go into his body, doesn't let it go into his mind. He holds it in his throat, and he's called the blue-throated one. Commonly, his whole body's depicted as blue. I don't know if that's, I'm not sure why they make the whole body blue. But anyway, that's the story. So Shiva has this masculine and feminine way. He's clearly a man, but he has these feminine features because has the unity of opposites, this balance, right? The moon, so there's a crescent moon on Shiva's head, right? This is a symbol of the mastery of time, but even going deeper into that, he's wearing it like an ornament. And this is really saying that time to Shiva, time to the great void, is merely an ornament. It's a cute little plaything, but it's really not, it's not ruling Shiva, right? Because how could time rule the void and the great expanse of the cosmos, right? The nothingness that holds all of the everythingness we see, it's basically, Shiva's holding space for the everythingness. That's what space is, right? It's this deep void of nothingness so that everything can be in it, right? Because you can't have something without nothing and nothing without something, right? This is the idea here. So time really is just ornamental when you're talking about Lord Shiva, right? Remember, Lord Shiva is just the human embodiment of this idea of the void, right? Lord Shiva isn't really a god as in the West would understand, or a deity like Jesus, or actually, God or Yahweh or whatever, right? And he's not a Power Ranger either, although he kind of has that. Some of the deities in the Hindu pantheon may have that Power Ranger vibe, but trust me, it's not that. There is the third eye, right? This link right to the what you would say, the pineal gland, right? There's a lot of information about the pineal gland opening to the awoken. His third eye is open, as you can see, right? And Parvati has hers awoken as well. This bindi. There's the women wear this bindi here, and that is to signify this opening. Well, Lord Shiva has a little something extra, doesn't he? He has this. He has these 3 lines on his forehead. These are significant these represent the past, present, and future as well, right? Because if you are the void, then past, present, and future, you encompass all things, right? So you've mastered those things. There's a halo. There's this light behind Lord Shiva, right? There's this aura around him. And this, curiously, is the aura of the sun. It's the light. It's the Son of God, or it's the light of the world, right? That's exactly the color. It's the color of sunshine, it appears, right? So you could interpret that as he is the force or the nothingness which brings about this light, right? I'm not sure why the cobra's in the hair. I've never been able to figure that out. And also there's this line coming from the top. This is his crown chakra, by the way, and I think that's maybe why there's a cobra in his hair. It's around the crown chakra. And there's this energy flowing from the crown chakra from the top of his head, as you can see, and it's actually going to the Trishula and back and forth. There's this exchange of energy, right? I know there's a lot more to Lord Shiva. There's certainly a lot more to the Shakti symbolism, but I wanted to share that with you because I think this is an amazing image, and the more I learn about the cultures of Persia and India, the more there is to discover about myself, right? Because Shiva, Lord Shiva, is a human embodiment of the divine forces, but those divine forces are, of course, within all of us, and they can be, we can use these vibrational practices, such as the Maha Mantra, to rise ourselves, to bring ourselves into unity with our own divine nature, right? So that is the end of part 5. If you enjoy my videos, if you enjoy my channel, please subscribe and hit that like button. And feel free to add any comments, observations, questions, and try the Maha Mantra for yourself. Try the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for yourself. Open yourself up to it, and you will be amazed at the almost instant upliftment and relief you'll feel. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next week with part 6 of my series on word magic. Thanks.